Hello and welcome to the third annual Hart Softball Media Day. I'm your host, Reagan Harold at NAISB, your home of premier independent NAI softball coverage. Today we are joined by the defending Hart regular season and tournament champion Central Methodist Eagles. With us we have Coach Pat Reardon and defending Hart Player of the Year, Kalena Oots. Coach Reardon, another fantastic year for y'all in 2023. Obviously, a lot of memories made, especially in the World Series. The walk-off against Baker was one of the highlights of not only the World Series, but of the entire season. Can you talk about how special last season was for your program?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you come in, probably for about the last, I don't know, 15 years into this program, and the expectations have become, being a top team in the conference, if not winning it, and then obviously, having that taste of the World Series in 2015, we've always wanted to get back, and that's kind of the mantra that we go through. And it's not easy going through the opening rounds and getting to that final 10. And when you get there, I think it's very special. I try to tell them to enjoy this experience because you never know when you'll get back, or and a lot of people. Yes, we have had success, and but it took me 16 years to win a conference title, and then then everybody expects it after that. So, but we have got that our reputation, and that's what we want to do. Last year was a little bit unknown just because we're starting 4 or 5 freshmen rolling out there, and they kind of stepped up for us along with our upperclassmen and leadership. So it was a special year. Wasn't necessarily one that I thought, hey, this is senior dominated. It's time for us to do it. But yeah, it was super special. And then in that game against Baker, kind of going into it, everybody was a little disappointed because that's who we were going to open up. You think you go to the World Series and play somebody from Oregon or play somebody from Florida, and you just ended up another conference foe. But I think the fans got their money's worth from both Kira Baker throwing and then Jordan Ball throwing and then Madison hitting the home run. It was a pretty special day.
Absolutely. And you look at the last 2 years, obviously your first game is probably not somebody you want to be your conference opponent, but the Baker CMU matchup last year and then 2 years ago, Southeastern Weber, 2 Sun Conference foes, and they both golf home runs were great ways to start off the World Series. Coach, can you tell us a little bit about Kalena and what she means to the Eagle program?
She's both on and off the field. I'll kind of start off the field as great as she has been on the field. I mean, she's a 4.0 student. She's done several internships, has just is probably too hard on herself. That's probably one of my biggest critiques of her is, everything she wants to be perfection and everything has to be, and softball's not a game of perfection. And I tried to tell her that since her freshman year, but, she's given us since her freshman year, that speed element, that getting on base element, has I think her biggest improvements and what she's worked on has been defensively. She's become an outstanding outfielder too. I mean, that was one of her things probably coming in her freshman year. She's worked every year to be a better outfielder, and I think is going to go down as one of our best outfielders we've had here, especially with her speed and everything else that she does. And then she's just worked to make her game better, and I think being the player of the year last year was a definite good reward for her for all that she's done.
Kalena, last year, the Heart of America had numerous talented players, a lot of All-American team selections. Last year, you were picked to be the Heart Player of the Year. What did that honor mean to you?
It was definitely, like you said, a huge, I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. I was shocked when I got it just because, like you said, there are so many good players in our conference and very consistent players as well. So I was just super excited and elated that I got the award. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, I kind of just proved to myself like that's, I guess, what happens when you work hard and you kind of have confidence in yourself, because that definitely is another thing I've struggled with. Just because it is a game of failure and I do not like that sometimes. So just being able to stay within myself and just like be confident.
Awesome. Man. Last year, after you got the award, you got to go to Columbus, play in the World Series. And like we already talked about the Baker game, the Georgia Gwinnett game didn't fall years away, but that was also an instant NAI softball classic. And it was obviously a great experience. Can you just talk about that experience and being able to compete at the NAI softball World Series in Georgia?
Yeah, it was definitely, I hope not a once in a lifetime experience. I'd love to go back this year. But just not being able to go like my freshman and sophomore year and
Mhm.
then being able to finally like win an opening round and go. It was super exciting and it was fun just to be able to do it with the group of girls that we did it with.
Yeah.
Because they were also like the freshmen bought into the program super early on. So they were in it to win it as well. So it was just a lot of fun.
Coach talked about it a little bit earlier. It wasn't really a team where you're like, okay, this is a team that's really primed to go on a World Series run. But getting everybody back, y'all are obviously a very hot pick to repeat as Hart champions, get back to Columbus and make a run. So maybe tell us a little bit about this year's team, man. How's preseason practice been going for you so far?
It's been going good. Pat likes, I call it PC, Pat's conditioning. He's been getting us ready, in terms of kind of just getting us in shape and the mental side of things too, just making sure we're mentally tough, and prepared for like, we've been saying a game of failure. We did get a lot of scrimmages in, like inner squads, this fall. We're actually starting practice today for our first practice of the year just because we've been snowed in and our school doesn't start till this week anyway. So I'm feeling good. We need to definitely see some live pitching, but I think we'll be ready to go.
Coach, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and your staff's experience? Obviously, you have a family on the staff, but going to the World Series, can you tell us that experience from the coaching staff standpoint?
I think it's like you said, anytime and having new GAs, having Jonathan Lynch with us, for his 5 years and not having gone, he kind of after at the end of every year would always be like, sorry, coach, like it was his fault we didn't get to go. I think he thought it was his fault we didn't win the World Series, but he meant a lot to our program. Now he's taking another job in North Carolina, working at Elon University, which is a Division I school. So we appreciate all he's done. And yeah, we kind of replaced her with a former player, and obviously somebody I'm well aware of with my daughter, Addison Reardon, who was a former four-time All-Conference player, and now she's coming back in to help us and has done a great job in the fall. Plus, my dad, he's been here and he works so hard recruiting these girls, and just the time he puts in for a quote quote volunteer is just crazy. So to have the family there and to have Jonathan get to go in his last year, not knowing that, but his last year, it's and like I said at the very beginning, I mean, you don't know when you'll go back. You would hope to think that you're going to go back every year, and it's hard, to be one of those final 10 teams standing at the end.
Absolutely, Coach. We've talked about y'all were a young team last year. You're bringing a lot back. Who are some players coming back to the team this year that are going to be very important to get back to Columbus this season?
I think everybody will always tell you it starts with the pitching. We have all three of our main pitchers coming back this year. I think Jordan Ball kind of started out and was a great surprise for us. She works so hard. She's wants to pitch all the time. I got to kind of put the reins on her. And then kind of Haley Ferris and Haley Cotter, kind of splitting roles at that other position. And I think Cotter gained a lot of experience last year and was kind of big force down the end. And I think Haley Ferris has battled some injuries since her freshman year in junior college. And I think, coming back this summer, she felt as good as she's felt and looked good in the fall. So I'm looking forward to having a healthy Haley Ferris back to kind of build that staff where it's going to be. As far as on the offensive side, we lost Kaiser last year, which was a big, she was an all-conference player, all-American, NFCA player. So that's going to hurt. But like I said, everybody else is back. So, and that's kind of the way it fell out in the fall. I think right now we're still battling, this next couple weeks and probably the first couple tournaments for who's going to fill in for that role for Caitlin and how everything else is going to battle out. But most everybody that's coming back, from Lauren Hill catching to Kreider to Madison White to Madison Roberts to Palumbo to Jolly, and Biscuit there. Everybody else is going to be that. That's kind of our lineup again.
And Coach, obviously, Heart of America is a great conference to play, and you got to be ready once conference play rolls around. And y'all are doing that. You're making a trip to Louisiana, Columbus for NFCA, and Gulf Shores in the non-conference schedule. Can you tell us about how important it is for your team to be able to compete against teams from all over the country in these tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, I think I explained to them, and looking at it today again, just kind of shaking my head like, did I make a mistake? Kind of doing these things. It's a lot of travel, but it's kind of where you want to be at the end of the year. We start off playing. First day we play Our Lady of the Lakes World Series team. We're going down to play Cumberland's, finished third in the country. So I think I stopped counting after about 5 or 6 top 15 teams, and so we'll see them all in the first month. And like I said, you're going to have everybody in this conference. I don't care what they did last year. I don't care where they're predicted to finish. You got to come out and play, and that's hopefully this is going to prepare us for that. And hopefully it also we play well enough to kind of, because there's a lot of teams we're playing, especially in Columbus, that we've never played before. So different regions of the country, kind of some different things that we want to get our brand of softball and kind of who we are out there. So when they're talking about it on the ratings or doing those things, they can kind of experience what we are.
Yes, sir. There's certainly a few non-conference games that we have circled, with Central Methodist being one of the two teams. Really excited to see y'all playing in February, and obviously when we get into Heart of America play. Kalena, can you talk about these venues that y'all are going to, and how much it means to you, and how fun it is to be able to be going up against teams from all across the country?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting to see kind of those high caliber teams at the beginning of the year, just because if you do want to make it to the end, I think it's important to see that early on. I also think from like a pitching standpoint, a lot of those teams are going to see towards the beginning of the season are going to be like those top tier pitchers. So it'll be good kind of to see that from the start. And then once we like trickle down like throughout the season, like, I mean, we can kind of have in the back of our head, like if we've seen them, like we can hit this pitcher who may not be, maybe they're still great, but maybe just not at that level that those pitchers we saw at the beginning of the year were. And then just from like a travel and like tourism standpoint, it is really fun. Like Gulf Shores is one of my favorite trips, and just we stay at a house on the beach. So after a long day of softball, we can go and hang out there. I always enjoy it.
I'm sure y'all are really looking forward to being on the beach right now with
Yes.
the way the weather is up there. Can you tell us a little bit about your softball journey? When did you start playing, and how you fell in love with the game, and then how you ended up being a Central Methodist Eagle?
Yeah. I didn't start playing softball till I think I was in 3rd grade. One of my like school friends, they needed an extra player for their like machine pitch team. So I joined, and I hit right-handed for a long time, and I was really bad. So I knew I was sort of fast. So then when I was like 14, I switched and I started slapping. And ever since then, I mean, I've been on the left side. And then in terms of becoming a CMU Eagle, Gene was at all of my games, and he was recording me with a little camcorder. I like vividly remember like looking up and seeing that. And he just kind of kept in contact, and I really liked the like small atmosphere of CMU and being able to like have a one-on-one connection with professors, because I knew we'd miss a lot of school for softball. So just being able to like go up to them was important to me. So yeah, and it's only 2 hours away. I'm from Kansas City, and I felt like that was like far enough away, but in the case something happened, I was still close. So
Nice. At the top of the interview, Coach mentioned you were 4.0 student, excellent off the field with internships. Can you tell us a little bit about what your major is, and what are your career plans post softball?
yeah. So as of right now, well, I'm in my last semester. So I'm majoring in business management, and then I'm minoring in accounting and economics. And then last summer I interned for IMA Financial Group. They're an insurance broker out of the Midwest. So I also plan on having an internship with them again at this summer, and then we'll see from there.
Very nice. Coach, we talked about who else coming back. Who are some newcomers that could shine for the Eagles this season?
I think we're just looking for a little depth right now. So I think that, it's just kind of going to depend on it. I don't know. It's not like last year where I had kind of a bigger chunk. I think we're looking for more from depth. but we had a good fall, and some some different people kind of are working for some of those roles. Trying to think, Estella Huntsman, out of the Knob Noster area. We're hoping that she can come in. She was hurt most of the year, but we kind of looked at her as coming in and possibly, being a DH, possibly, maybe even seeing some time in the circle. But really, I think out of the whole group we have, it's just going to be looking for depth right now and seeing where we can get from there.
Awesome. Kalina, you have a little bit of a new softball facility on campus, so I've heard. Recently renovated all turf fields. How much do you enjoy playing there? Can you tell us a little bit about the new facilities?
Yes, we got the turf field last year, and I used to not really be a fan of turf, but that was before I did field work. My freshman and sophomore year, we did a lot of field work. It rained all the time. And as a freshman and sophomore underclassmen, I was the one I felt like doing a lot of that work. So everything from raking to tarping to filling in like holes. Yeah, I was not a fan. So when I heard we were getting the turf field, the thing I was most excited about was the fact that we would not have to do that much field work. So, and we're able to practice outside and get live reps when it's raining, which is something that like we couldn't have done really when we had the dirt field.
And
one final fun question for you. What's going to be the walk-up song for this season for the reigning Hart Player of the Year?
I don't know. That's a good question. Last year I did Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi. I don't know what I'll do this year. That's TBD, I guess.
Well, keeping the fans guessing. Kalina, Coach, again, thank you so much for coming on, taking time out of y'all's very, very busy schedule, getting ready to defend a Hart championship, getting back to Columbus. Thank you so much, and best of luck in 2024 season.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for what you do, too. Appreciate following the NAI and following us. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Of course.